Oops. Good morning, everybody. Hope all is well. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. It's hump day. Trying to get everybody in. All right. Most of you still need to work on your energy research, so I'm not going to take up too much of your time there. And then some folks are on a field trip, so everybody might not be here. All right, so while I'll give it a few minutes for folks to come in. If you've already finished your research, wonderful, wonderful. You should have, because it was only one paragraph. So everybody should have finished it. All right, so give look at this, read that over in about 5 minutes. I'm going to, one of the things I noticed on the website is that the ecological consumption challenge doesn't work. So we're going to watch a short video that talks about the challenge we have with using energy consumption and trying to maintain some type of balance on the planet. We seem to take our needs in consideration over what is good for the planet. Earlier in the year, you did the carbon footprint. So this kind of goes along with that, in that you're going to look at how you use your energy supply, and how we're using it all up in terms of what is renewable and what's non-renewable, what can we easily replace, what can't we easily replace. So read that over. Like I said, I'm gonna give it another 5 minutes for folks to come in. I'm gonna do attendance. If you have not completed your assignment, please make sure that you have. That was the assignment. You only had to pick two of these, two. And then some of y'all are AI in it and just coming because I noticed some of them sound exactly alike. So, but I hope you read what you're writing, because you do need to be able to answer these later on. So read what you wrote, that you submitted and got points for. Make sure you know what you wrote. And if you have a few minutes, look at a question that you didn't answer. You don't have to write it up or submit it, but just research it. Because all of these things are connected with our unit. So again, I'm going to give it another 5 minutes, and I'm going to do attendance. And then I have a short TED Talk to share with you on that topic of energy consumption, the challenge that we face. They put up the exam schedule. We will probably just do, I think it's up. There we go. All right, so we're going to do science on the 12th. So, and it won't be an end of semester exam. It's just going to be an end of unit exam. So we will finish up energy consumption by then and do that test on the 12th. So I put that on your calendar. Science test on Friday the 12th. Friday the 12th? No, for you all, it's the Thursday. Thursday. The 11th. Check that. December 11th. Thursday. Last class is Friday. And this class will be Friday also. Okay. And again, it'll just be the test end of unit test on energy consumption. Okay, so put that on your calendar. I just put it on mine. Okay, because as you can see, it's kind of a short unit, so we'll be finished with it by then. We are already on how we use energy. All right, good morning. If you're just coming in, we are in Canvas. We're reading over this section on how we use energy. I'm gonna stop sharing. Okay. Okay, I will check on that. Nathan, I got you. Justin. Okay, Justin, I got yours too. All right, so I'm gonna check on both of those right now. All right, good morning. Good morning. If you just came in, we are looking at how we use energy in Canvas. I'm gonna do attendance and then I have a short TED talk for you. And just a reminder again that we only have 3 weeks left and we're testing on the 11th and then we'll have an activity after that. Okay, good. See how many of these folks are on a field trip. Two. Okay. Mm. Okay, where's my screen? All right, a couple of you needed to still submit Who Poisoned Pumpkin Creek. That's been opened, so it's now available until Friday. After Friday, it closes again. Okay, so again, I mentioned that on that page for energy, the energy challenge is not working. So I thought I would substitute that with an informational video.
Another hole?
It's all gonna come together. I'm your man.
Asking the right question and great.
My son thinks I have the coolest job title in the world. I'm the director of the future of food. For him, that's some kind of idea. He thinks this is a Willy Wonka style role of creating chocolate fountains, unlimited gobstoppers. But it's a little bit more down to earth, really. It's about thinking about how do we produce food without destroying nature? How do we deliver to 10 billion people affordable, nutritious, and sustainable food? The one catch to all of this is I can't tell anyone what they should eat. It just doesn't work, right? I tell my son all the time what he shouldn't eat, and that doesn't work. My mom spent my early days constantly telling me what I should eat. Brussels sprouts. This is me just last week. It didn't work despite all the time she told me. So anyway, I digress. That's the one catch. But when I do think about the future of food and how to produce food without destroying nature, one particular molecule always floats to the top as a priority.
Hi, Leslie, the deal-loving llama here. I just got a great deal on new flooring. Have you heard of this place called Lumber Liquidators?
And that's protein. It's essential to human life. Did you know we have 100,000 different types of protein in our own bodies, right? When I say protein as well, it's kind of writ large, all of the good stuff we get from animal source foods, from meat and from milk, macronutrients and micronutrients. But our insatiable appetite for protein is destroying nature. Did you know that 1/3 of global emissions come from food, and half of that is coming from animal agriculture. Did you know that we have 40% of the land surface dedicated to production of agriculture? And over 2/3 of that is for animal agriculture. And it doesn't stop there. We project to 2050 an increase in demand for animal source foods and protein of 50% or more. There's simply no way that we can deliver that without tearing up planet Earth, unless we change the way we think about it. And so one thing that I think can play an important role in that is alternative proteins. So when we talk about alternative proteins, we can think about plant-based products. Plant-based could be a burger made from soybeans. It could be bacon rashers made from peas. And there are already products like this on the market, and they come in at an extraordinarily lower footprint in terms of emissions and in terms of land. We can also think about fermentation. So fermentation, it's an age-old practice that we've had for millennia. Today, modern-day fermented products, we can be using microalgae and microbes and fungi and creating new types of protein. Hell, we can even create protein from air. And then the other type is cultivated meat. Cultivated meat is where we use cells from animals, reproduce them, we recreate tissues, and we have meat-like products that are coming from just these cells, right? I had the fortune to try beefsteak recently. It had the taste, it had the texture, it smelt. It was meat, right? This is me trying it. As you can see, there's a trend in this. I'm going to be the only TED Talk to show only slides of me eating things. And as you can see, it's very hard to get a good photo while you're tasting. So fortunately, this will be the last one. But the mind-blowing thing while you're tasting that is thinking that the cow, where those cells came from, was grazing up on the mountainside just close to where I was. And that cow, those cells, could produce thousands, if not millions, of those kinds of steaks. It's mind-blowing.
Too many commercials.
What is that?
It's called light.
Find your fun again. Carnival is calling.
Couldn't skip that one. Can't skip.
GANFEDS offers the potential for significant
So it sounds too good to be true, right? Well, it's not perfect. It has its issues. So many of the plant-based proteins that we're producing right now are being processed too much. They're overprocessed. Also on cultivated meat, the costs are very high. We have $40 per pound or more is the cost of producing these kinds of proteins from cultivated meat. And then scaling this to have any kind of planetary impact, actually producing cultivated meat on planetary scales, it's an enormous challenge. The sector is also suffering. We had an absolute influx of funds, of investment during the pandemic, and the sector right now is suffering. That was impatient capital, venture capital, pouncing on a great idea, but right now it's looking for products on shelves and profits to pay back those investments. The sector is suffering. So, is it really part of this future of food? Well, put simply, I think it has to be. We have to make this work. And many of these problems are surmountable. Innovation is absolutely key. We can bring down the prices of cultivated meat through innovation. We can find new ways of combining plant proteins and recreating, mimicking the flavor of meat, the flavor of milk, the textures, if we get those ingredients right and those combinations right. AI is helping tremendously. I've tasted a cheese that is cheese. I love cheese, and this cheese is cheese. And it's using AI to get those combinations right. So these problems are surmountable. So remember the catch. I can't tell anyone what to eat. But what can I do? Well, I can tell governments that they need to step up on this. We need governments to step up and support. Did you know that hundreds of billions of dollars are spent every year for subsidies, for support to animal agriculture? And I can tell you, and that's on the rise, but I can tell you, if you had the same amount of support going to the alternative protein sector, these products would already be an awful lot more affordable and much tastier on supermarket shelves. So governments need to step up. They need to level the playing field for this, right? And many governments are interested. They see opportunity here. It's resilience. It's building, it's addressing food prices. It's addressing food security. But they're scared to talk about this. This has become a polarized issue. It needs to not be. And
Oh, goodness. And then they make it so that you have to watch it.
governments looking at this can look for Singapore for inspiration. Singapore has been a powerhouse in alternative proteins. What did they do? They were the first to regulate for cultivated meat. They regulated, made it available for consumers. They invested in innovation. They invested in science. They incubated companies and startups. They created an ecosystem of actors working on alternative proteins that is world class. And it's the only country in the world where you can go to a supermarket and buy a cultivated meat product today. It is there on supermarket shelves. Singapore has shown the way of how this can be done. And the other thing that I can do is invest. I can put our money where our mouth is. So at the Best is Earth Fund, we've just committed $100 million to support centers for sustainable protein. It is tackling some of these insurmountable problems, these surmountable problems, using innovation to bring prices down, to improve texture, to improve taste, and to make these more healthy and more nutritious for people. That's what I can do. What can we do? Well, we need to recognize that everyone has a role to play in this future of food. Everyone has a stake, not that kind of stake. Right? We need to move away from either or and move towards yes and. Yes, we need rotational grazing, regenerative animal agriculture, ranches that are delivering all of the great things that they do. And we need plant-based proteins. Yes, we need lab-grown, cultivated meat, and for fish, for lamb, for beef, and we need new fermented products. Yes, we need all of that and everything in between. Whole grains, pulses. Yes, we need that, right? So that's how I imagine the future of food. It's one that accommodates for all of the palates, the religions, the cultures, the preferences out there, and all of the budgets. And it's not about just producing the perfect burger. A Nigerian came up to me and he said, look, don't come to me with burgers in Nigeria. We're not a burger nation. We like chewy beef. Yes, it's chewy beef, and it's halal certified lamb, and it's all of these things. So that way, and my son is very grateful for this, we're not telling anyone what to eat. We are simply getting access to a large range of options which are all sustainable, affordable, and healthy. And so it's ultimately about choice. It's about my choice, it's about your choice, it's everyone's choice. But make no mistake, these are probably some of the most important choices we'll make. Thank you.
Okay, so that is in your playlist. So again, like he said, it's a choice. In your generation, your future, we are looking at, like right now, like if you like Burger King and all those kinds of things, where you get the beef from, where you get the cattle from. We're running out of grazing land. If where you live is anything like where I'm living, they are clearing land for housing all over the place. So we're losing agricultural places. And if you can't feed the cattle, then how are you going to raise them? And then they switch to artificial things, which makes the cattle unhealthy. So you there's things that you need to think about in your future. So like he's saying, he's giving you an alternative type of food to think about, like the Impossible Burger, which is a plant-based burger, but it's something for you to think about. All right, so we only have a few more minutes left. Um, Again, those of you who have not finished, and I'm looking at the grade book, there's quite a few of you who have not completed your activity on that. And again, I showed that because this activity here on the page does not seem to work. At least it doesn't work for me. So I'm assuming it's not going to work for you either. So in place of ecological consumption challenge. That's what he was trying to get you to think about. The challenge we have with protecting our ecosystem and still being able to eat every day. Okay. All right. So if you haven't read this page over, read it. Click on all of the question marks. Food is where we get our energy from. So in addition to talking about other energy sources, such as solar energy and other types of fuel, we need to remember that food is our fuel source, our energy source. Also remember that the scientific definition of energy is the ability to do work or bring about change. If you don't fuel yourself, you can't work. You slow down, you run out of you get tired. So you do have to have fuel in order to provide energy so that you can do what you need to do. All right. I'm gonna stop sharing. Any questions? All right, so use this time to do what you got about 5 minutes to kind of finish up anything that you have not finished up yet. And I will see you all tomorrow. And we will continue talking about energy. Again, those of you who came in late, we are hoping to get this unit finished up. There will not be a final exam. There will be a unit exam on December the 11th, Thursday, December the 11th. Put that on your calendar. Um, Chance, check your chat. All right, Nathan, have I answered your question to your satisfaction? There's Chance, are you in the room? You're looking at your ceiling right now. All right. There you go. Anthony, I have a proposition for you. Hold on 1 second. Okay. All right, Anthony, check your messages. There you go. Still looking at the ceiling. All right. Those of you who are paying attention, you are free to go. It is time to go. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. We're going to keep on talking about energy. All right. Anthony, check your message. Chance. Are you there? All right, Anthony, great. See if there's anybody else. All right, Nyla, you still here? Or are you gone? Me too, ain't. All right, Nyla, if you're still here, I sent you a message.